Hi everyone, I'm Donna Stellhorn, your practical astrologer, and today we are talking about the solar eclipse. It's on September 21. It's at 29 degrees of Virgo. Now, 29 is a critical degree, and this is a harvest eclipse, so that makes it particularly intense. So let's talk about it. So this eclipse and the eclipse we had earlier in September are the exact same eclipses that we had in September 2006. So think back to 2006, what was going on? What were the obstacles and challenges? What were the opportunities that were happening? Because those are things that could be happening again this time. And by the way, I do readings so we can look at your chart and look at specifically what's ahead for you. There's a link in the description. So, of course, eclipses bring big change, and that affects the world. And the theme of the eclipse, which is based on the sign of the eclipse, and in this case, the degree of the eclipse, can give us a lot of information about things that could go on in the world. Now, a lot of these things are happening already. They are just reaching a very noticeable and critical stage. But what's more important is that we can derive information for our own lives from what's going on with this eclipse and in the world. So a Virgo eclipse is always about health and well-being. And so during this time, we may see some big news stories about what is going on in the world when it comes to health, disease, infections, just general well-being of people. And what we need to think about for ourselves is, how are we taking care of ourselves? How are we taking care of our bodies? Because this 29-degree eclipse says that if there are things that you know you need to be doing and you're not doing them, now is the time to start, because the energy here is really loud. It's like a megaphone saying, take care of yourself. A Virgo eclipse is about agriculture and the food supply, and so oftentimes with the Virgo eclipse, we are going to see rising food costs or even shortages. And again, you may have already been experiencing some of this, but this is also that now it becomes more extreme. Now it becomes more noticeable. And the message for us as individuals is, how can we become more self-sufficient? Now, in a society, it's very hard to be 100% self-sufficient, but we can learn to cook at home, keep a well-stocked pantry, to connect with local restaurant owners or local farmers and support what they're doing in our communities. A Virgo eclipse also talks about the people in general, the condition of the population, and so that can lead to some, expressing and civil unrest, and we are seeing that again already. And so it's very important to express our opinions and to be out in the world saying our truth. But this is also a reminder that in our own lives, we need to look at what's not working and make some changes to figure out, what we're doing that is something that we would normally rebel against. And so then we say to ourselves, okay, this is something that has to change. Also, a Virgo eclipse is about how large companies and the government itself just works on a daily basis. And so it's quite likely that we're going to hear a lot more about jobs, how many jobs are being created, or how few are being created, layoffs and things like that. And so that reminds us, that bigger picture reminds us to take a look at how we're doing our daily lives and what we need to subtract from our daily lives, what we need to add to our daily lives to make it better, to put ourselves more on the path that we want to be on. And that might involve, meditation or journaling. That might involve getting into the community, meeting your neighbors, and connecting with people. Now, this eclipse affects those people who are born between the 14th of the month and the 27th of the month. I'm going to put the specific dates on the screen, and that means that your sun is getting hit by this eclipse. Now, of course, a conjunction, a square, or an opposition would be the strongest hit, but even a semi-sextile is going to affect you. And so this hit to your sun means that some aspect of your identity is shifting. That is that you are deciding to leave an old part of you behind and embrace something new. Additionally, it's very important to check the planets and as well as a couple of important points, and that would be the ascendant and the midheaven. Those in particular could affect your job, your living arrangement, your relationship. And so look for any planets or points that are between 25 degrees and 29 degrees, or between 0 and 4 degrees. All of those indicate a hit. Of course, personal planets and the moon are going to be a stronger hit. Some of the outer planets like Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto are going to be more generational, so people around your age will be experiencing a similar thing. And I also wanted to mention that if you have anything at early Libra, so that's 0 from 4 degrees, that's actually a conjunction with that eclipse, with this eclipse at 29 Virgo. So that's often missed because of the change of signs, but this is a very potent hit. Now, eclipses allow us an opportunity to see our situation very honestly and make some changes. And this can be something you're quite conscious of, that you've been saying to yourself, I need to change this, or you're already in motion towards it. It also can bring a kind of, oh, the emperor has no clothes type of experience where we say, I didn't realize that I've been fooling myself. I didn't realize that I was not paying attention to this as much as I was. And so then it's time to get real. And so either of those things can help us move forward. Okay, Leo, this eclipse is very much about your money and your sense of deserving to bring money in. And so this is something you've probably already been working on, looking at and shifting. And so, but during the eclipse time, it may feel like it's not working yet, but you're likely on the right path as you move forward with taking care of yourself, working on self-worth issues, self-esteem issues, things like that. Now, with this eclipse, of course, there's an opposition to Saturn. And so Saturn says that there is some sort of authority out there that you feel is telling you that you cannot move forward. But that's what you can challenge. Because in this world right now, the old gatekeepers, the old authorities aren't as prevalent as they were before. The fact is that anybody out there with talent and putting out energy, etc., can make it, can do something extraordinary. So this is an opportunity for you to be the authority, and starting with being the authority of your money, knowing where your money is going, what is happening with it, and resonating with that energy so that you can pull it in greater amounts. Now, additionally, this is about self-worth, and with that opposition to Saturn, you may or may not be thinking that somebody else is judging you, is saying that you're not worthy. So, but this is your choice. You decide. And so this is about looking at your past, forgiving yourself for things, especially, mistakes that you made that you learned from, because that's the purpose of mistakes. So as you move forward with this, you can then let go of other people's judgment, as well as letting go of your own harsh judgments towards yourself. And a way that you can uncover more information about this eclipse is through an astrology reading. Astrology readings are very helpful. They give you information about yourself, they can uncover your hidden talents and abilities, and they can also give you a view of what's ahead. So I do readings. There's a link in the description. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, there's no aspect going on between the Sun and Jupiter. And Jupiter's a little bit hidden right now. It's going to be shifting and into retrograde pretty soon. And so then we're going to see it line up with you in the future. But this is an eclipse time anyway. And so getting into a new relationship during eclipse time can be a little bit of a roller coaster ride. So The focus for you is really on yourself and taking care of yourself. Now, as Leo, you tend to be very outwardly focused and wanting to lift everyone else up. But this is a time to be paying attention to yourself and allow others to take care of you as well. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, you have a very nice Sun trine Uranus. It is out of sign, which says that the two of you are coming together with your very specific set of talents and abilities, and that is making the soup of this relationship really delicious. So you have some really good energy of you bringing to the table what you do and they bring to the table what they do, and those two things, while they're extremely different, complement each other. So this is a time where your relationship can really grow a lot stronger because you're recognizing the contribution of each other. Now, when it comes to your money, you pull money from Mercury, which is beyond your money house and now is out there collecting ideas. And yet your money houses are so lit up. So as your energy goes out there and collects these ideas, it is important with the Virgo eclipse to remember to process these ideas. And that is that right now you could be flooded with new information of how to do things and what's the best practice and who can you talk to and all of that. So much so that if you're only in the mode of collecting the information and not actually utilizing the information, then it becomes a bottleneck. So this is about looking at making some very clear distinctions and decisions about what it is you already know. And that could be, what contracts or agreements can you sign and get done with? What sort of information like emails and things like that need to go out and be done with? So clearing out some of those things. And then as you click on different tutorials or instructional videos, remember to pause afterwards and see what you can implement rather than just automatically going to the next thing. Now, when it comes to money from business or from investments, the Mercury's making an opposition to Neptune, and that gives you an opportunity to come together and really build a team. So this is about finding people to collaborate with in your business or finding experts who can help you and guide you. This is about finding, like talking to your broker or finding a new banker or somebody like that who really could partner with you to help you move forward in financial matters. And then when it comes to money from your career, so that would be your paycheck, this Mercury is still in harmony with both Uranus and Pluto. Those are very powerful players, and that gives you an opportunity to rub shoulders with the CEO, to talk to your manager's manager, or to be on a more equal footing with your own manager. So this is a time where you do want to bend their ear and say, all right, what do I need to do to be on the fast track for the promotion I want, or the job that I want, or the salary that I want? So if you were given the chance to completely change one part of your life, what would it be? Take a moment and think about this, because oftentimes that answer will tell you where the eclipse is falling in your chart. And so when we have an eclipse, especially an eclipse that affects the sun in the chart, what gets affected is how you describe yourself and to others. Then, just less than a month later, Venus opposes the eclipse degree, and that happens on October 1st. And that's going to be some sort of maybe announcement about commerce, about prices, about goods, because Venus rules the Taurus energy, which is the stuff that we want to have. Now, probably the 410 hit is considered one of the most stressful because it is about home and career. And of course, you can mitigate a lot of this energy by leaning in and making as many changes as you can in those areas.